NBC network television premiere.
Dad said the Indians believe agates have special powers.
Yeah? What kind of powers?
I don't know.
Maybe magical powers to heal people like Dad.
Maybe.
Yeah. Race back to the house. Come on.
Great!
For me.
Sorry to bother you, Mrs. Sheppard, but I left my ladder from yesterday.
Oh, there's no bother. It's in the basement.
Come on, I'll show you, Mr. Lund.
My wife is going to kill me when I get home.
How's her signs?
Stable, 102/70.
She says I'm too tired for sex.
Maybe you should give up medicine.
Give up seeing you?
Suction.
Wait. Damn it. There's a second tumor up against the basilar artery.
It's not resectable. We'll have to close.
Hold it. I can do this.
Sam, you'll kill her.
No, Robert, you're wrong. Now a retractor and a dissector. I want to save this girl's life.
I had to put you on salary.
No thanks, I'm gonna be a doctor.
Just like your daddy, huh? Well, I want you to have a good 4th of July. But don't get too close to the fireworks.
Yes, sir, Mr. Everling.
Well, I thought you said you would be home by 5. Oh, of course, something always comes up. Well, there's always some emergency or some operation. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in this house with your friend who refuses to do... Just remember that your folks said they might stop by tonight along with the house. All right. Love you. I just miss him. That's all.
Me too.
I know you do. But he's a very busy man with lots of responsibilities.
He's the best surgeon in the city. Think I'll be home a lot more when the new baby comes.
I'm sure he will. Okay?
She's going to be fine.
Oh, God, thank you so much.
Actually, if it hadn't been for my big brother, Robert, things might have gone differently.
I'm just glad it all went well.
Oh, thank you.
You can see her once they get her down to intensive care.
You took quite a gamble.
Be happy, Robert. You just saved her life.
Excuse me, Dr. Sheppard.
When are you gonna grow up?
Just smiled at her.
It's a refreshing change. No, it isn't funny, Sam. You are a member of an important family with a lot at stake in this hospital.
Excuse me, Dr. Sheppard. You're wanted in OR3, stat, accident victim, and turtle bleeding.
Judy Coles.
Must be complications.
Well, anything can happen in an operating room.
More coffee, Esther.
Yes, thank you. Are you dreading getting fat?
She's not getting fat, Esther. She's pregnant.
Thank you, Sven. It's good to see you and Sam so happy.
Oh, don't tell me you've already had your coffee.
How'd it go?
16 units, A positive, plus 2 manual cardiac massages, but he's stabilized, Ed.
And the pediatric tumor?
Fully conscious. In fact,
Enough shop talk. You must be tired.
Oh, Mom, I'm beat. Darling?
We were starting to worry.
Dad, look what I made.
You made this? By yourself? Well, this is excellent work. Very great attention to detail. Look at this craftsmanship. This is beautiful work, Chip.
It's also time you were in bed, young man. You'll be up late tomorrow with the fireworks.
Let's go.
Good night, Grandpa, Grandma, Mr. and Mrs. Hulk.
And we'll try it tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll put...
See you for a minute.
Go on.
Where were you?
At the hospital. What do you think? You can call if you don't believe
I don't
me.
need to call. I know you can cover your tracks.
Marilyn, if you're going to give me one of your
Doesn't
lectures...
it ever stop, Sam? Don't I ever become enough? Give me your hand. Do you know what this is?
Yes.
This is new life. It's a new chance for all of us. I just want us to be happy again. Please. Please, Sam, I love you so much.
Dear God, please bless my mom and dad, Grandpa and Grandma, and my Uncle Robert. Amen.
Did you say your prayers?
Yep.
Good boy. Okay. Now, let me see those hands. You have beautiful hands, Chip. These hands have greatness in them. Always remember that. You have a special gift in these hands. Hop in. Good night, son.
Chip, wake up! You gotta get out of here. Come on, you don't have time to get dressed.
Dad!
Turned white as a ghost for a second there.
Fine, thanks.
Drop your letter.
Sam, I'm getting rid of your father's things. If you want any of it, meet me at the storage building. No later than Wednesday. Ariana.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign as we begin our approach into Cleveland Hopkins
Gilbert?
International Airport.
Mr. Sheppard? Anything else before we land?
Nope. For me, thanks. You know, it's funny. One of the main reasons I became a lawyer was because of a guy named Sheppard. Doctor in the 1950s. Accused of killing his wife in cold blood. Amazing story. Lived right across town from us. Terry Gilbert.
Sam Sheppard.
You're his son? How long will you be in town?
Not long.
Well, listen, I'm hosting a forum at the City Club on the abolition of the death penalty and prison reform. If there's any way you could attend.
Sorry, I can't.
Well, are you sure? I mean,
Sorry, I can't.
just in case you change your mind.
He's going to be living with me for a while, so we'll have to make some changes.
But Dr. Sheppard, the boy cries all day.
His mother was murdered less than a week ago, Mrs. Avery. What do you expect?
But I don't know what to do for him.
Well, he'll be in school most of the day, and when he's not, I'll pay whatever overtime is necessary. But starting now, your duties will include seeing to the boy's welfare. Is that clear?
All right.
I think it best you not go to the funeral. You'd be surrounded by reporters. You'd never stand a chance.
When can I see my father?
I told you, he doesn't want you or Grandma going to visit him in the jail. You'll have to wait until he's released.
But what if he isn't?
There are no what-ifs. Your father's innocent, and we're going to prove that at his trial. Anyway, he gave me this for you. You should go to sleep now.
We're here today to witness the burial of Marilyn Sheppard, the victim of perhaps the most brutal crime in this city's history. Meanwhile, as evidence continues to mount against the flamboyant Dr. Samuel Sheppard, a clearer and clearer picture emerges of a gifted neurosurgeon who saw himself above the law, a womanizer who drove an exotic sports car, a well-to-do osteopath who shunned the norms of polite society. This is the same man who asks us now to believe the unbelievable, that he fell asleep on the couch that night and awoke hours later to hear his wife screaming. That's when he says he ran up the stairs. Well, that's when he says he saw a white form standing beside his wife's bed. That's when he says everything went black. You see, Dr. Sheppard wants us to believe that the mysterious stranger clubbed him on the back of the neck. He wants us to believe that after regaining consciousness, he ran down the stairs chasing the mystery man, bushy hair, who fled to the lakeshore, where Dr. Sheppard supposedly passed out again.
Hello, Ariane.
I'm glad you came.
How are you?
Old. Not so pretty anymore. And you?
I'm working as a dental hygienist, living in Boston. I guess I'm doing okay.
Good. I have no money, Sam. Not for keeping these things. These are the letters that you sent him in prison. What is it, Sam?
She died on this blanket.
Court will resume session in 5 minutes.
Everything's gonna work out.
I accompanied Dr. Sheppard to the hospital where he was examined by his father and brother.
And what did you see of the examination?
Well, I didn't see much. The family did their best to keep him away like they were protecting him.
Objection. Overruled. Did you make any statements at that time regarding Dr. Sheppard's condition?
I told him, I think you killed your wife.
Objection, Your Honor! Order!
He said they had made an arrangement. She let him have his affairs, and he promised to keep up appearances for her.
And now, Mr. Houck, what, was Marilyn content with her husband's swinging lifestyle?
No. She cried on my shoulder many a time. And I know she was hoping that her pregnancy would change him, but we all knew that he'd never stop cheating.
Objection. Overruled.
Always overruled. This isn't a trial.
It's a lynch mob!
Please. No. I refuse to be a party to this. Refuse.
Order!
We met at the clinic where I was a lab technician.
And after a certain point, your friendship with Dr. Sheppard became sexual.
Yes.
How many times a week would you and Dr. Sheppard meet for sex, Miss Hayes?
2 or 3 times a week.
And where did these sex acts take place?
In his car, the Jaguar, or in the Lincoln. And sometimes in the apartment he kept over the clinic.
Judge Blythen, what are his chances?
My court, not good. Sam Sheppard's guilty as hell.
He'll come apart if we put him on the stand.
Well, what's the alternative? Sit silent in a rigged trial? Where they won't let us back into Sam's house? Where they keep us from the evidence? Where they won't let us see the police reports? And all the while, the press get to tear my family apart like a piece of meat.
Did you know about his affairs?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. So what if I did? He's on trial for murder, not arrogance.
I'm not so sure. Look, Robert, I share your frustration.
No, you don't. Your father's not lying in a hospital fighting for his life, and your brother's not already halfway strapped into the electric chair.
She was found with her pajama pants pulled down and her pajama top pushed up, exposing the anterior chest and pelvis. The head and the face bloodied by some 35 blows, ranging from 4 large gashes to the upper right forehead, skull fractures, broken nose, 2 broken teeth. And although the murder weapon has not yet been found, have you made a determination as to its nature?
Objection. Your Honor, he's asking him to guess.
Overruled. The witness may answer. I'm convinced the murder weapon was a surgical instrument, the kind an osteopath might use, with tooth-like serrations crushing the skull, as you see here.
Please, stop. Please, stop.
Going to the execution, Chip? Don't call me that anymore. Why not? It's still your name, isn't it? Chip was my nickname. My real name is Sam R. Sheppard, just like my father. Well, they're gonna kill him, Sam R. Sheppard. They're gonna fry your daddy in the electric chair. Killer Sheppard gonna die. Killer Sheppard gonna fry. Killer Sheppard gonna die. Killer Sheppard gonna fry. Yeah!
We find the defendant, Dr. Samuel Holmes Sheppard, guilty of
murder in the second degree.
Quite a day, didn't you?
Why don't you go haunt someone else?
You don't feel like talking tonight?
Not to a man who's been dead over 25 years.
Never stopped you before. Oh, yeah. This is a little different, isn't it, Chip?
Would you stop calling me that?
Why? You're still a little boy, aren't you? Still scared? Still living in one-room apartments? Without a life? Without a purpose?
Why don't you leave me alone?
Tired of talking to ghosts? You want to start being a man?
Oh, I'm a man, all right. I'm a man whose father...
What? Go on.
I'm a man whose father was wrongfully convicted of killing my mother.
Gee, there's a real practiced ring to it, Chip.
What do you want from me? I'm here, aren't I? I mean, I came back to Cleveland.
Yeah, but tomorrow you're gonna run, just like you always do when the going gets tough.
You've made your little speech.
No, this time is different. You turn your back this time, you'll spend the rest of your life in this hell with me. Or you can decide if you've got the guts to go to the bottom and look at the truth. The truth about you. The truth about me. The truth about what happened that night.
Excuse me. If I wanted to stay an extra day or two, would that be possible?
Well, I need to rerun your credit card.
Sheppard, huh? Any relation to that doctor they executed back in the 50s?
Actually, you know, he drank himself to death in the 70s. But thanks for asking.
Empty your pockets.
So what happened? Well, we presented our criminalist report saying essentially that Marilyn had died in a halo of blood and that the splatter patterns indicate that she was struck by a left-handed assailant.
I'm right-handed. They know that.
They also know that the assailant had to be covered in blood and that even if you had washed your clothes in the lake, you never would have gotten the blood off the belt.
Blood does not wash out of leather. Bob, all of this came up in the trial. Well, what about the evidence of a rape? What about the injury to my neck? What about the fact that I had no motive for murder?
Well, we made the point that Marilyn's teeth, if they had been broken by the blows, the pieces would have been inside her mouth. As it was, they were found alongside the bed because she bit him. When he pulled his arm away, he literally yanked her teeth out.
It had to be the killer's blood on the stairs. He was bleeding from the wound that she gave him.
We went through it piece by piece with the judge.
And?
He called it opinion and theory and insufficient to order a new trial.
This is America, Bob. Innocent men do not get locked up in prison for life. If someone gets them out. Do you hear me? You gotta get me out.
I'm doing the best I can. How you doing, son?
I'm okay.
Bob tells me you're a real little man. When Grandpa died.
I didn't get to go to the funeral.
Well, sometimes Sometimes it's best that way. How you doing at school?
Okay. Some older boys took my cap away. One that you gave me.
You're just gonna have to stand up for yourself now. You have to be strong. You hear me? Both of us. We have to be strong. For each other.
No contact. Those are the rules.
How's Mom? She took an overdose of sleeping pills. We found her just in time.
Where's she now?
Staying with me, just like Sam. Is she gonna be all right? Well, she's still depressed. But I suppose that's to be expected. What with everything coming out of the trial, and Dad dying the way he did.
You don't think I wouldn't give anything to have him back?
Period's over.
Visiting hours are now over. Visiting hours are now over.
You and me, Sam. You and me.
What about the women who are raped and murdered? What about cops gunned down in the streets? Don't they deserve some kind of justice? The truth is, our whole system is set up to protect the criminal, while the victims of their crimes are virtually ignored.
Excuse me. But we have a special guest today, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to ask Mr. Sam Sheppard if he'd like to give us some of his thoughts on this subject.
I think that there are enough victims in our society without the state creating more, because it's not just the accused or the condemned, it's his family, it's his children who will believe that somehow it was their fault, who will go to sleep every night imagining themselves behind bars and strapped into the electric chair, screaming to please make it stop. But it never stops. It never stops.
Sam! Wait! Please! Look, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just thought that your speaking would really mean a lot to a lot of people back there.
Well, I wish I hadn't.
Your father's case is still one of the most important trials in the last 50 years. I mean, people around here are still talking about it like it was last week. So I assume you're here to reopen the investigation.
No, I'm not here to reopen anything. As a matter of fact, I expect to be leaving in the next few days.
Yeah, well, okay, I guess I can understand that. But if there's ever anything I can do for you, I'd appreciate it if you give me a call.
Thanks.
Who's that? I don't know. Your grandma. Mrs. Sheppard!
Grandma!
Mrs. Sheppard! Mrs. Sheppard!
Clearly, the effects of this trial, the death of her husband, and the revelation of her son's many infidelities ultimately led this proud and religious woman to take her own life, devastating the Sheppard family, once considered to be among Cleveland's most respected, and dealing a blow to Dr. Sam Sheppard, who was placed under a suicide watch at the local penitentiary before being permitted to attend his mother's funeral.
Stop it.
It was my fault. If I had woken up the night that my mom got killed, none of this would be happening.
It was not your fault. Your grandma was a coward. Only cowards kill themselves. Do you understand me? There will be no cowards in this house.
I know it's not much of a present, but happy birthday, son. See, it's you and me. Just the two of us out on the water, like we used to.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, well, I figure you're getting too old for toys.
So how are you doing?
Don't worry. I'm not letting these bastards beat me.
Well, I'm sure you'll be pleased to know that I've enrolled Sam in the Mercer Military Academy.
What?
It's the best thing for the boy. We'll give him a chance to be on his own, away from all this.
Well, this isn't for your sake, it's for the boys. Well, how do you feel about this, Sam? Hmm? You want to get shipped off to some prison?
I don't know.
Well, I do. And you're not going to any damn military school.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Sam. But the decision's been made.
Well, this is quite a moment for you, isn't it, Robert? You finally get your chance to get back. For all those years, I made you look stupid. You finally get your revenge.
This conversation is over.
Wait, don't take him away from me. He's my son.
But he's my responsibility. Just like the rest of the mess I'm expected to clean up. Well, I got news for you, Sam. I'm going to do what I think is best. And you're just going to have to live with it.
Dad!
Be strong.
Someone from the academy will meet the train and help get you squared away. Well, I guess that's it then. I did the best I could, Sam. I hope one day you'll understand.
You wanted to go, didn't you?
I don't know.
You don't know?
All right, I wanted to go. I wanted to go someplace where I wasn't a freak, where people weren't staring at me.
At last. Honesty.
What, now I'm supposed to feel guilty, is that it?
Who said you're supposed to feel guilty?
I loved you. I knew I was breaking your heart.
You were a kid. You were fighting for your life. You think I don't understand? You were fighting for your life.
Mr. Gilbert. Hi, it's Sam Sheppard.
What made you change your mind?
I want it to end. Lies, rumors. I want to know who killed my mother. During the trial, the prosecution and the coroner withheld huge amounts of evidence, possibly evidence that could have cleared my father. The only way I can get access to it is by suing under the Freedom of Information Act.
Well, I guess I can handle that.
Look, I know you normally charge for your time, but I guarantee you this case will give you enough
I'm
notoriety.
not worried about the money, Sam.
What are you worried about?
Well, the other day at the City Club, the subject is still raw for you.
I can handle it.
It turns out your father really was the murderer. Will you be able to handle that?
Dear Dad, I'm honored to inform you that I've been elected senior class president. I say this in all modesty because while there are several other qualified candidates, none can claim a father who is as much of an inspiration as you are to me. I live each day as though you were watching me, and I stay strong because I know you are strong, and fighting on because of me. But I must ask if everything is all right with you. I've noticed your letters arriving less frequently, and I can't help but wonder if something has happened.
Sam, could I have a moment? I have a feeling no one's told you about this, but there's a woman who's coming to see you, and she says she's your mother.
What?
Yeah, I'm not so clear on it myself, but apparently your father met her through letters. She's from Germany, but I understand she's arranging to immigrate to the U.S. to marry him, as well as pay for a new appeal.
Oh, Larry's my son. It's me, Ariana. Oh.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, well, is that all you can say? After all, I'm going to be your new mother.
No, you're not. Don't ever say that to me again.
Of course. You're not a boy anymore. You're a big, strong man.
Hurry on.
Sam, I just wanted to say goodbye.
You're going back to Europe?
Yeah. What will you do with all this?
I don't know. I'm hoping that somewhere there's a key or a clue.
Wouldn't it be better just to get on with our lives?
Someday.
Good luck. Oh, have you, been back to your old house?
No, I haven't. Why?
It's been sold again. It's a new owner as well. They're going to demolish it. I thought you'd want to know that. Take care.
You give Ariane my letter?
Yes.
They thought they had me beat. Cutting me off, restricting my mail. Stupid bastards. Never occurred to them I could go through you?
I guess not.
What's the matter? You said you didn't mind.
Well, I guess I thought at least some of your letters would be to me. Not just filth I have to decode for your girlfriend.
Oh, well. I didn't mean to offend your delicate sensibilities. This woman happens to be something special to me. And if you can't handle it...
I didn't say that.
Oh, no. You're too refined. You're not like the rest of us sex-crazed commoners. You're a military man. Look at you in this monkey suit. What are you, some kind of faggot? Good, Sam. I didn't mean to hurt you like that. Here, let me see those hands. Come on. I can see it. These are special hands, Sam. These hands are gonna save lives someday. You'll see. Hey, who knows? Maybe you and I could end up as a team. You go to med school, I get released. It could happen. You see, I'm gonna be a doctor again.
don't you go talk to Ariane?
Very good.
You go to hell.
Why so angry?
Look at you. You're a thug. You're a pervert. Getting your son to be the mailman for your pornographic letters.
Spent 10 years in prison. See how you come out.
What about before? The nurses or the lab technicians with any girl who had spread her legs?
Yeah, so?
So you make me sick. You haunt my life like you're some kind of conscience, like you push me to see the truth. Well, I see it.
See what?
You were never a father to me. And you were never a husband to my mother.
Maybe they were right all along. Maybe I was what everyone said. Say it, Sam. Come on. Accuse me. Come on. Be strong. Say it!
You killed my mother. You killed my mother! You killed her! Killed mother. Killed her.
Welcome to the bottom, Sam. You just met your demon.
Sam! You okay? I've been looking everywhere for you.
What's happened?
I got it. 6 boxes of evidence. It's all sitting in my office.
Gerber, the prosecutor, they all said there was no sign of a break-in, no forced entry.
Which is why they said it had to be your father.
Listen to this. There appears to be a freshly made tool mark on an outside door that leads to a basement. The mark appears to have been made by a chisel or wedge-like tool. That's from the report of Officer Henry Dombrowski, Cleveland Police.
Now, here's something else. A coroner's verdict dated July 4th, 1954, the day of the murder. They find that Marilyn Sheppard came to her death as a result of multiple impacts to the head, fractures of skull, subdural hemorrhages, and contusions of the brain. I find it impossible to believe the explanation of her husband, and therefore conclude that Marilyn Sheppard came to her death as a result of the injuries caused and inflicted by Dr. Samuel Sheppard. This was less than 24 hours after the murder, with a fresh trail that could have led in any number of directions.
No, they didn't want a trail. They already had their convenient suspect. The brilliant and arrogant doctor was stuck to his story because he believed it. Because he believed innocent men don't get sent to prison in this country.
He never figured people would lie. They'll conceal evidence that would have cleared his name.
Up! Spin! Up! Shoulder! Up!
Sam! Sam! Your father's been released.
In a stunning development, the United States Supreme Court has overturned the conviction of Dr. Samuel Sheppard, calling it nothing less than a mockery of justice. The High Court concluded that massive prejudicial publicity, clear bias on the part of the judge, and proceedings overrun by the press together robbed Dr. Sheppard of any chance at a fair trial. The only question that remains in freeing Dr. Sheppard: has the High Court returned a man to a society that still, in many ways, believes that he's guilty?
Where's my father? I don't understand.
The Chicago Tribune paid their expenses in exchange for exclusive coverage of the wedding.
You mean he's in Chicago?
And then Europe for the honeymoon. Ariane thought they needed time.
I skipped my graduation to be here.
I know. Things happen so fast. But he wanted me to tell you that he's sorry, and he'll see you when he gets back.
Les Hoverston lived several weeks with your parents?
He was fired from a hospital in Los Angeles. My father was trying to help him get back up on his feet.
It appears he was fired for making advances toward female patients.
My mother hated him, but he left the day before the murder. I think he went to stay the weekend with some friends in Kent.
Kent's only 30 miles away.
He could have come back the same night he left. Finds the house locked, breaks in through the basement, leaves chisel marks on the door, then he goes upstairs to where your
No,
mother's...
that doesn't make sense. I mean, he was already living in the house. If he wanted to assault my mother, he had plenty of opportunities without having to break in.
You're forgetting he needed an alibi.
No, you're forgetting that when the police interviewed Les, they described him as having no visible cuts or bruises.
So?
So my mother bit her assailant hard enough for him to trail blood through the house. Hard enough for her to break out 2 of her teeth and leave her assailant a marked man.
Honey, it's time to carve the turkey.
Let's take a break.
Daddy, Daddy,
guys.
Daddy.
What you doing? All right, I can't lift both. Yeah.
They weren't here at the time of the bishop said we were both in the same place. Don't you remember?
Sam, you're keeping our guests waiting. We're ready to carve the turkey.
Surprise! Happy to see us?
Oh, I hope I'm not disturbing anything at all, Robert.
Robert, I'd like you to meet some friends of mine. This is Lou Romano and his beautiful wife, Sandy.
It's Candy.
Oh, whatever. Lou and I met while we were in prison. He's a wrestler! Ain't that right?
Damn right. Whoa, hey. This is a hell of a place you got here, Bobby.
Robert, these your friends? Hey, nice to meet you. Maybe good old Robert hasn't told you about me. I am the black sheep of the family.
Right? Sam and Ariana, I'd like you to meet Russ and Carol Seiler. Russ has a private practice in town.
Oh, really? It's nice to meet you.
And this
Hello.
is Bob and Eleanor Blanchard. Bob's a surgeon at Bayview.
Oh, really? Well. We'll be seeing a lot of each other.
Nice to meet you, Dr. Sheppard.
Oh, I love what you've done with this decor.
Hey, isn't Bob good at this stuff? I mean, decor and all this. There he is. Here's my hero. Hey, what are you, queer or something?
Sorry.
Yeah, well, with all this hair, you had me worried. I can see you're a man, through and through. What do you think, Robert? He came out pretty good, didn't he? For somebody who got shipped off and forgotten.
I don't suppose you've already had your dinner.
Oh, no.
As a matter of fact, we are a little bit hungry.
Yes.
Of course, it wouldn't be an inconvenience.
None at all. None at all. I'll just have Mrs. Avery set 4 more places.
A 75-year-old man walks into the doctor's office and says, "Doc, I think I'm becoming impotent." And the doctor says, "Well, when did you notice the symptoms?" And the old guy says, "Yesterday afternoon, and 2 times last night, and 1 more time again this morning." Oh, what's the matter, Robert? You don't look like you're having any fun.
What are your plans, Sam?
What are my plans? Getting my license restored. Yeah. Practicing medicine. And who knows, maybe even working with you again. That is, unless, of course, you end up working for me.
That's very funny.
Well, I'm a funny guy. But the main reason I'm here is because of you. Because I wanted to tell you how grateful I am. Because if it hadn't been for you, I would have hung myself in that prison a long time ago.
I guess you're taking him with you then, huh? I mean, his stuff's right upstairs. Just a guitar and some clothes. Right, Sam?
Well, that's not exactly the way I planned
No,
it.
Sam. You understand we're still on a honeymoon here.
It's okay. I see, so it's just a little inconvenient right now.
Are you trying to embarrass me, Robert? Huh? Do you want it to look like I don't want my son with me?
Sam, we only have a one baby.
Shut up!
Look, Dad, it's okay. I can...
Can what? Stay here?
Honey, I think it's best.
No. You're staying. We're the ones that are going. Go on, get your stuff.
Sam, but you
coming with
promised
us.
me.
I said he's coming with us. Go on. Okay. Come on.
We don't need this son of a bitch anymore. Go on.
You know, I've got 3 witnesses, and each one says your mother was having an affair with Spen Hauk.
Yeah, I've been hearing that for about 30 years. Spen Hauk was a fat slob who was 20 years older than my mother. If she really wanted an affair, she could have done a lot better than Spen.
All I'm saying is he was around, and your mother was alone a lot of the time. She was lonely, and she knew your father was unfaithful.
I mean that she was unfaithful, too. All right, let's say she did have an affair. What reason would Spen have to kill her?
Maybe because she was pregnant. She thought it might repair her marriage, so she told Spen the affair was over, only he doesn't want it to end. So he sneaks back that night, passes your father asleep on the couch, makes his way upstairs, only this time your mother rejects him more forcefully, screams for your father.
Spen clubs him as he bursts into the room. I'm telling you, I've heard all this before.
But it could have been Hauk.
Yeah, and it could have been the milkman, but it wasn't, because my mother wasn't having an affair. She died in a halo of blood. She was raped and bludgeoned, her face smashed, and her skull crushed. And it wasn't Spen Hauk, and it wasn't Les Hoverston, and I don't know how I know this, but I know it was somebody else. Somebody we're not seeing.
Get here.
God damn you. It's been 6 months already.
He's my kid. I want him you. If you don't like it, you can get the hell out.
Oh, you son of a bitch. If I want for my money.
Oh, your money.
Hey, Dad.
Money. Hey, your money's all gone. What the hell good are you here for now?
Dad, can't you leave us alone?
You got your license back.
Yes!
Don't be nervous.
Don't worry. They'll take me back. Why don't you wait here?
Look at my record. I have saved patients that other surgeons couldn't even touch.
You have no other choice, Dr. Sheppard. Your background makes you a liability.
My background? You're sitting in my father's office. How is that for background? These walls, this room, my father built this hospital. How's that for background?
Dr. Sheppard, please.
Please what? Go away. Pretend I didn't exist. Pretend I didn't spend 10 years in prison. Do you have any idea what I lost? Do you have any idea what it's like to find your wife in a bed in a pool of blood? Raped? And her face beaten beyond recognition? Your whole life just crumbled. Just in a few moments. Jesus. I'm begging you. I'm on my knees.
Dad, please. Don't.
Please.
It's okay. It's okay.
Please tell him, Sam. Just tell him I'm innocent.
It's okay. Come on, let's go. It's okay.
I'm sorry, Sam. I truly am sorry.
Every hospital, Every clinic, every doctor in the state, they all said the same thing. That is, if they even bothered to let me interview. Of course, by then you were in Boston.
Was I supposed to just stick around and watch you and Ariane destroy each other?
I wish you could have seen me, Sam. Treating patients in a motel room for $5 a visit. Diagnosing syphilis, suturing knife wounds, delivering illegitimate babies. You should have seen me, Sam.
I couldn't stand to.
I know. I couldn't stand it myself.
For Mom and Spen, you know, having an affair.
I don't know. Besides, wasn't it you who said it couldn't be Spen? Or Hoverston?
And I'm not sure anymore. I'm not sure of anything.
That's because you're forgetting. There was another witness.
I was asleep.
The day before. You don't remember the day before?
I had to put you on, but don't get too close to the fireworks.
Yes, sir, Mr. Everling.
In 1989, Richard Everling went to prison for beating an elderly woman to death. Now, in 1959, the same Richard Everling was arrested for burglarizing homes. Now, among the stolen items in his possession at the time of the arrest was a ring that belonged to my mother.
Go on.
Turns out, the same Richard Everling owned a window washing business. In fact, he was working for my parents around the time that my mother was murdered. I mean, I remember him.
You sure?
When he's arrested in 59, 5 years after my mother was murdered, do you know what he tells the cops? My blood may be in the house where Marilyn Sheppard was murdered. He was abandoned at birth. He suffered seizures and memory losses. He bilks his foster parents out of thousands of dollars. Now, in 1956, he's driving with his girlfriend when his car ends up in a crash that kills her instantly, but miraculously, he walks away. Now, this girlfriend, by the way, just happens to be the nurse that treated my father's injuries the day of the murder.
You think Everling was dating her because of her connection to the case?
I think Everling was obsessed with my family, with my father's lifestyle, and with my mother's beauty. And that's why he broke into Robert's house to steal the ring that he didn't get the night he murdered my mother.
And nearly tore her finger off trying.
So now it's the 60s, and Everling's working as a live-in caretaker for a wealthy widow named Ethel May Durkin, and he's managed to get himself included in her will. But when she starts suspecting his motives, she ends up dead, clubbed in the back of the head, but made to look like she accidentally fell down the stairs.
So he inherits her money.
Yeah, except for Ethel's two sisters, who are also her heirs. And do you want to know what happened to them? The first one dies, supposedly falling down a flight of stairs, and if that doesn't sound familiar enough, the second one is found bludgeoned to death. Her head and face smashed, her nightgown ripped down the front, just like my mother.
And Everling's only conviction was for the murder of Ethel May.
Yeah. His lawyer has arranged for me to meet him in prison.
Want me to come with you?
Nope. I've been in prisons before.
The prison of knowing, the prison of waiting, until the iron bars melt away. And all that's left in the last light of day is you and me, and our dreams gone by, in the shadows set free, like my mother's sigh.
That was a beautiful poem.
Thanks.
Do you mind if I ask where it came from?
Well, I guess it's a part of me I'm trying to let out. What year are you in?
Sophomore. You?
Yeah, same. Hey, you want to go out for a cup of coffee?
Hey, Sam. Hey, man. Isn't this your father? Killer Sheppard wrestling at the Civic? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's okay.
Okay, so give me a call later, okay? Don't let it get to you, man.
If you'd rather be alone,
No. It's okay. I'm just never ready when the next thing hits, you know.
Are you gonna go see him?
Killer Sheppard! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 1
don't know. We've worked together before. All I expect is a little bit of respect. Shut up, kid.
Oh, well.
Listen, let me drive my car.
Why are you doing this? You could have called me.
You're taking good care of me.
Yeah. 70-30.
You're the only friends I've got. I've got nowhere else to go.
Look, you can stay with me a while.
You mean it? Like before?
But come on, let's get out of here.
Listen. Listen, I've had enough.
Dad, this is Alyssa. Alyssa, this is my father.
Hi.
Hey, well, doing something right, I see.
She's just a friend.
Oh, well, then you're doing something wrong.
Come on, let's get a drink.
Dad!
Don't throw me out. I'm gonna be good. Oh, come on, you're not gonna let a girl come between us.
It's not the girl. Just not working.
That's right. You gotta have your own life, I remember.
Look, you want to think I'm the bastard? Fine.
No, it's me. I just can't help myself from screwing things up. Hey, won't put me in a half Nelson, huh? Come here.
Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Coach 9297 departing for Cleveland in 5 minutes. 927 departing for Cleveland in 5 minutes.
Hey, Dad. It's time.
for you.
Call Robert when you get into town.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
Dad.
I will.
Here's your ticket. Here. That's all I got.
You have beautiful hands. Did I ever tell you that?
Hey, good luck.
Richard Eberling. So we meet again. Last time I saw you, you were just a little tad.
That's right.
Now you're here because you think I did it. The ugly outsider, the dirty commoner, it had to be me. Because it couldn't possibly have been that golden boy surgeon, could it? Hmm?
Well, I didn't expect you to confess.
Yeah, well, I could tell you what really happened if I thought you could take it. You see, when you work in folks' houses, you come across some dirty secrets. Yeah, go ahead. Turn your little recorder on. See, it was the day before the murder. I was cleaning windows in your folks' house when I heard Esther Haug screaming at your mother upstairs. If you don't stay away from my husband, I'm going to kill you. See, Esther was insanely jealous of her husband. And she was half out of her mind in between her medication and her drinking problems. And she just knew that your mother and Sven were flaunting it right under her nose. So she decided to come back later that night and put a stop to it. What she had, see, was this iron patty shell maker. And what she did, see, was stand by that bed where your mother, your beautiful mother, just lay there. And then this rage started filling up inside her. And then she just started wailing away. Of course, your dad hears the screams, but by the time he gets up the stairs, all he sees is Esther covered in blood and moaning like an animal. So he calls Sven, and the two of them cook up this story about some bushy-haired intruder, which would have held up if that coroner Gerber hadn't gone after your father. And then if good old Sven hadn't jumped on the bandwagon, to keep his own dirty little secrets hid.
How was it that your blood was in the house?
Like I said, I was cleaning the windows the day before, and I cut my finger on that one in the kitchen. You remember that window, don't you, Chip?
You know what I think? I think you're a liar.
Oh, sure, you'd like to believe that, huh?
And that scar? Didn't you get that when my mother bit you?
Wrong.
You didn't trail blood through the house as you ran out?
Wrong again.
You killed my mother just like you killed Ethel Durkin.
Wrong, wrong, wrong!
Well, we'll see.
Sam, I've been trying to get you. I called the school, but they said you'd stopped going.
Robert, how did he die? The paper didn't say.
They found him on the floor of his apartment. He'd been drinking and taking pain pills, I guess. They said he'd been going downhill for a while. They said he had a bunch of dead flowers in his hand.
You're going to have to stand up for yourself. You have to be strong. Who knows? Maybe you and I could end up as a team. You go to med school, I get released. It could happen.
I'm going to be think it best you not go to the funeral. You'd be surrounded by reporters. You'd never stand a
The
chance.
head and face bloodied by some 35 blows.
Sam Sheppard, they're gonna fry your daddy in the electric chair.
Skull fractures.
Killer Sheppard gonna die.
Broken nose.
Killer Sheppard gonna fry.
2 broken teeth. The murder weapon was a surgical instrument. The kind an osteopath might use.
These hands have greatness in them. Always remember that. You have a special gift in
You
these.
know what it's like to come home and find your wife in bed in a pool of blood?
Magical powers to heal people like that.
Chip was my nickname. My real name is Sam Sheppard, just like my father.
Your grandma was a coward. Only cowards kill themselves.
Because if it hadn't been for you, I would have hung myself in that prison a long time ago.
Well, I guess today is the day.
I guess so.
You know, I'll be happy to drive you to the airport.
Oh, no, that's okay. I already called the cab.
How do you feel?
Fine.
You got all your things? Your medications?
Yes.
Well, I imagine the weather will be nice in Boston at this time of the year. Have you thought about what you're going to do when you get there?
Well, a friend of mine's a dental hygienist. He says it's a pretty good job. Helping people. Using my hands. I think I have good hands.
Sam, the past is the past. As your doctor and your uncle, I strongly advise you, don't go back. It's dangerous for you. Do you understand?
Like I said, I was cleaning the windows the day before, and I cut my finger on that one in the kitchen. You remember that window, don't you?
He's a liar. He never actually worked at my parents' house. His assistant did, and his name is Vern Lund.
So the only possible explanation why Eberling's blood was inside your house
was because he killed my mother. I want you to contact Eberling's attorney. If his client's as innocent as he claims, they'll have no trouble getting us a blood sample for comparison.
Yeah, but comparison to what? We don't have any blood from the scene of the crime.
Yes, we do. We have a drop of blood from my parents' house. Now I gotta go find Lund.
I remember, because it was so different. See, I was only 18, so he worked with me on every job except your folks' house. He had me do that one myself.
So, do you mind?
No, go ahead.
So he was never inside the house?
Oh, yes, sir, he was, because he gave the estimate. That meant going inside and counting windows. I'm sure he was all through the house.
And what happened next?
Well, that was strange, too. Because your mom, her murder, it happened over the weekend, and I still hadn't heard about it till Monday when I was in the car with Eberling. And he told me your mom got raped and killed, and that only he knowed who did it. And it shocked me. I mean, it really shocked me. See, I'd just been there the Friday before. She'd been so nice to me.
And what did you do?
Well, I guess it just scared me. So I quit working for him the next day and tried to put the whole thing out of my mind.
The police never interviewed you about this?
Oh, yes, sir, they did. And I told them all I'm telling you now. And when Eberling was on trial for murdering that widow, I contacted the same police department again. See, I saw a connection the way that woman died and the way your poor mother died. But the police, they never did anything about it.
Any luck with Lund?
I'm coming back with a signed affidavit. I think you'll find it very interesting. What about Eberling?
No, he's refusing to cooperate. The chance of us getting a court order to force him are slim and none. Especially with only one drop of unidentified blood to base a comparison on.
Okay. I'll get back to you.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for seeing me, Dr. Balraj.
How can I help you?
Well, during my father's trials, none of the state's evidence was ever made available to my family.
We are talking about a trial that took place over 40 years ago.
Yes, but this wasn't just an ordinary case. Your predecessor, Dr. Gerber, hated my father and everything he stood for, and after doing everything he could to destroy him, Dr. Gerber still refused to release his reports.
Well, Mr. Sheppard, even if that's true, I still don't see what this has to do with me.
Well, for years there have been rumors of a vault. Materials, evidence that Dr. Gerber kept under his personal lock and key. And even though I filed under Freedom of Information, I have yet to receive a single document in response to that suit.
Are you accusing me of withholding evidence?
No, Dr. Balraj. I'm in no position to accuse anyone. Because, you see, if I can't produce any more evidence, my mother's murderer will never face justice, and I will have to live the rest of my life knowing that I failed her. So really, I'm here to beg you. If you know of anything in the archives or warehouse,
I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Your Honor, we base our petition on 3 issues. First, the massive misconduct by the state throughout Dr. Sheppard's 1954 trial. Second, that evidence which could have exonerated Dr. Sheppard was deliberately excluded by the prosecution. And lastly, the discovery of Richard Eberling, who was a much more likely suspect than Dr. Sheppard ever was.
But even if I order Mr. Eberling to submit to a blood draw, isn't it true that the only thing you have to compare with his sample is a single drop of blood in a vial from a garage?
Your Honor, it was in a box of my father's belongings in an envelope marked evidence from the coroner's office.
But you have no proof of this, correct? No chain of evidence, no authentication. You have no idea where this drop of blood may have been all these years.
Your Honor, if I might approach?
If you have something to add to these proceedings, please identify yourself to the court.
For the record, my name is Elizabeth Balraj, and I am the Cuyahoga County coroner. After a thorough investigation by my department, a vault of information was discovered belonging to this case. This is a partial list of its contents, including some 91 evidence envelopes consisting of blood, vaginal swabs, fingernail scrapings, hair samples, etc., all of which I am recommending be made available to the plaintiff for DNA testing in this case.
All right. Given this basis for comparison, I'm ordering a blood sample be taken from Mr. Eberling.
It wasn't Marilyn Sheppard's blood. It wasn't Dr. Sheppard's blood because we know he wasn't bleeding. No, it was the murderer's blood. It was Richard Eberling's blood on the stairs, on the porch, his DNA. In the sperm, Richard Eberling's DNA. Now, this is the same Richard Eberling convicted of theft and burglary. The same Eberling convicted of forging a will and perjury. The same Richard Eberling convicted for the murder of Ethel May Durkin and suspected in the murder of several others. His blood, his sperm, his pattern of violence over and over and over again. Therefore, Your Honor, we demand nothing less than a declaration of innocence granted to the deceased Dr. Sheppard and an indictment of Richard Eberling for the murder of Marilyn Sheppard.
Well, I think we can all sympathize with the plaintiff.
Your Honor. Sam, I know you mean well.
Mr. Sheppard, if you have something to say to this court.
Yes, Your Honor. My father wasn't not guilty. My father was innocent. And he told that truth over and over and over again, and no one listened. Not the press that assumed it had to be him and then made sure he was punished accordingly. Not the city that turned into a lynch mob. And not the courts that turned his trial into a witch hunt. Yeah, and even today, even in this court, we're just as sure that he did it because he was so cocky. Because he had affairs. I mean, it must have been him because our system of justice doesn't destroy a human being just because he's a convenient target. But that's what happened. My father was an innocent man. But the cops, the courts, and the people of the state decided that he had to pay. And they took away his freedom and his pride. And they took away his family and his career. And in so doing, they put my father to death just as sure as Richard Eberling beat my mother to death. And why can no one admit they made a mistake? No one says, "We're sorry, Dr. Sheppard. You were right. You were telling the truth all along." Well, I'm here telling the truth. And I only wish my father could hear this. And I only wish my mother could see, because when it comes to the sympathy of this court, I swear that the people who took the lives of my parents will be made responsible. And I will not rest until that justice is done.
So what are your plans?
Well, I've decided to work to abolish the death penalty. I leave next week for a demonstration walk from Boston to New Orleans.
And after that?
Well, we'll have to see, won't we?
You're quite a guy, Sam.
You too. Couldn't have done any of this without you.
Oh, I don't know. I think you could have done it all without me.
Terry, I want to thank you for being my lawyer and being my friend. Thanks.
It's an honor, Sam. Truly an honor.
Did it, Sam. You faced the truth, and you set us both free.
I'm never going to see you again, am I?
You don't need me anymore. You're your own man now. You proved it to yourself. Now there's no stain. There's no secret. There's no shadow to be afraid of.
Just wish I could have believed in you more before.
Believe in yourself, Sam. In your strength. In your courage. In your innocence. Let me see those hands. You're a fine man, Sam. And I'm proud to be your father.